All around the world, you see this recurring theme in different culture, and it describes in different way, but exactly it's the same theme. We have a force, an expression of this Watico that takes a reptilian form, and the cultures around the world, again and again and again, where they doing their creation myths. Then some kind of reptilian, lizard-like, snake-like entities are described. So take the biblical version. You have Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. And Adam and Eve are symbolic of, first of all, what humans are like before one became known as the fall. So the way I've seen it is that there was once not something that you call a human. It was a state of consciousness that was experiencing a word, a frequency band that was like the one we're experiencing, but on a much higher level of awareness, consciousness, frequency. So things weren't happening in dense matter and low, slow frequencies. They were happening on high frequencies, much more ethereal. And that, I think, is what is described as paradise that went before. And so Adam and Eve were casted out of paradise. What does that mean? I suggest they left that frequency level where what we now call it human experience, what we're experiencing now. Before it was in joy, happiness, love, and the high frequency state in paradise. And they fall down the frequencies. They fell from consciousness into dense matter. And the villain of Garden of Eden that is said to have been part of this essential of all this is the snake. People have to think symbolically, not the snake that can't talk. It's symbolic of this reptilian group, not just one person, it's reptilian group, reptilian gods as they perceived. And they fell down this frequency, Adam and Eve symbolically, what's now known as a humanity, because they gained the knowledge of good and evil. What is good and evil? It's polarity. It's the polarity that we see now in reality now. So now that level we fell from was oneness, was unity. And we fell into the knowledge of good and evil, the knowledge of polarity, which was this word, this is. And it has been for a lot of years. It is like what Genesis is describing, is the takeover of a human perception by this reptilian gods. And the God at the start of Genesis that is creating the world is actually an amalgamation to deceive and misdirect, or of the gods, of the reptilian gods. And what has been described is not a creation of the world, but the creation of the simulation, the matrix. And so when we hear lines like, and God said, let there be light, and there was a light, I say what's being described is electromagnetic light, which basically what is known as this simulation. After the turn of the millennium, this is a simulation, and the walls of it are the speed of light, which is not the fastest speed. It's a joke. If you're dealing with all possibilities, it's not the fastest speed possible. It's the speed of the matrix. And that's why they tell you, if you still live in the simulation of the matrix, if you're still in the matrix, you're still bonded to the devil. Devil, Satan, reptilian. as it's described in the biblical literature. What is physics and the laws of physics, as we call it? Whatever the creator of the simulation has decided it to be. What are the laws of physics in a computer game? Whatever the creator of the game decided to be. But if this article pointed out, you can create the laws, you can create the game, but you will still be limited by the process speed of the game. And that's why the speed of light is the fastest speed. That's why when people have near-death experience, they leave the body and they look into the simulation through the five senses, out of the five senses, and they experience totally different version of physics, where past, present, and future are all happening at once in the same now. Within the simulation, we have time, we have all other illusions of creation of the simulation. So here you get back and you think for a while, okay, this simulation have levels, 3D, 4D, 5D, the astral level. What's the reason of my existence? Oh, here comes the big answer. You start finding answers. Why I'm here? Karmic cycles. Why I'm here? Shall I leave the body the same way I came into it? I came as a soul, shall I leave as a soul? Or shall I sell my soul in this matrix? Or what shall I do? Shall I lust the material and live this world? What shall I do? Why I'm here? What the heck am I doing here? These comes the big questions that nobody ever answered. But within consciousness, knowledge, reading, life experience, you get to realize that this reptilian group has trapped people. Yes. To still come here in some way in a called reincarnation. But why do you reincarnate and your memory wiped from the past life? Why? Because you don't learn lessons. What are those lessons? Karmic lessons. What's the major karmic lesson? What's the major lesson? Leaving the body in a high vibrational way. Spiritual awakening. Realizing that you are a spiritual being in a human body. Doing what's good, what's different. Breaking the matrix. That's how I see it. Yes, you're still on the same simulation. But when you leave the body with a high vibration, you have done a little big job, dude. You can decide if you want to come back to that simulation or not. Because as long as you are reincarnating, people think that only certain religion, all people reincarnate. All people all over the world. It's not tied in one religion. It's bullshit. But to remember your reincarnation, to remember, and you're happy with it, that means you never learned your lesson. That's why you came here to do it again. That's why there's divine beings chosen to what they call, they reincarnate as this goddess energy to spread the awakening through the people, to ignite that in them and let them realize that life is much more than you think. And death is only the beginning. What do you think about that theory? Don't fall in the trap. Yes, the trap of the simulation of reincarnation. Those reptilian gods for money reasons, for this monopoly. So the same amount of number of people still trapped here with their system. You'll find them in governments, sectors, secret societies and cults. Those who's ruling behind the scene ain't no politician ruling, ain't no religion, ain't nobody that you see his face is ruling, ain't no president, or ain't no king and queen. Those are puppets, dude. Have a nice day.